Hey everyone, I hope you guys are doing well. I wanted to bring you this video on why your credit scores are different and how you can fix it. Now, if you're new to my channel, I bring you information to help you no matter where you are in your credit journey. So if you like that kind of information, make sure you subscribe to the channel and give this video a thumbs up. Also, make sure you hit your notification bell so you can be notified every time I upload a new video. Now, for 2023, I will be showing you how to leverage your credit to gain assets. At my website, I give you guys a free hard inquiry removal package. Now, the reason why you want to remove hard inquiries, because even if you have a really good credit score, too many hard inquiries can get you denied for credit. So you can go to my website and download that package. I always leave the link in the description of the video and in the comment section. I do have letter packages for purchase, so you can remove your negative items. So you can check that out at my website. And coming up February 18th, I will be re-rolling out my webinar for all the people that missed it last month. You can sign up, and with this webinar, I will be showing you guys some credit hacks and how to raise your credit score by 100 points. And in addition, you'll be removing negative items. Now with this webinar, I will be live. So we'll be able to answer your personal questions and help you resolve those issues that you have with your credit. So if you want to sign up and join me, the link will be in the description of this video and in the pinned comment section. So let's jump into this information. Now, when it comes to your credit scores, one thing you have to understand is that each credit score is a different credit bureau. So you have three major credit bureaus: Experian, Transunion, and Equifax, and they are their own separate company. Now, each one of these companies use the FICO scoring model, but they have their own nuances on how they grade your score. Now, they do use the 5 basic factors of the FICO scoring model, which will be payment history, which is 35% of your credit score; utilization, which is 30%. So that is how much debt to available credit on your credit cards. And then 15% is age of credit. How old is your longest credit account? So the long standing, the age of your credit account. And then you have mix of credit, which is 10%. They want to see how you deal with various types of credit accounts: credit card accounts, real estate accounts, installment loans. So that's mix of credit. And then 10% is hard inquiries or new inquiries, every time that you're going out applying for credit. Those also count against you, and that's 10% of your credit score. So all three of them use that. But the thing is, because they have nuances to their grading system, it is rare. I have never seen where somebody's credit scores for Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian is the same across the board. So you're going to majority always have some kind of variation in your score, about like maybe 15 points or 20 points the max. You'll have one score that's higher, one that's a middle score, and one score that's going to be your lower credit score. Now, this is just something that's known so much that mortgage companies, when you go to look for a home, they understand this. So when you're looking to apply for a home loan, they're not going to take the highest score or the lower score. They're going to use your middle credit score, the one that's in the middle, because they do understand in the lending world that none of these scores are exactly the same. So once you understand that, then you know, long as your credit score is within a 20-point range of one another, and it can be closer, you are okay. But your issue is when you see 50 points and above. You are dealing with something that's problematic on one of your credit scores. And I'm going to break down these things that you need to look for these credit score issues and where you need to start to fix that problem. So if you're a person dealing with a 50-point plus variation in your credit scores, I want you to look at these 7 areas in order for you to diagnose it and be able to fix it. So number 1, how are you viewing your credit score? Are you using a credit monitoring system like Credit Karma? That is a Vantage score. So it is a different scoring model than a FICO scoring model. They have different ways or different points that is deducted for sometimes negative items, or different points that is increased for positive things on your credit profile. So Credit Karma is not a FICO score. So any credit monitoring system that you're getting these credit scores from, make sure it's not a Vantage score if you're trying to apply for credit, because 90% of all lenders use a FICO score. So that might be the difference in your credit scores. So you might check your FICO score on a Myfico or even, Experian or Transunion, and it's different from your Credit Karma score. So that's because it's a different scoring model. So, it's a different scoring model. Now, also what you want to look at is what is the current FICO scoring model that you're looking for. So, and if you're going to apply for credit, different things that you're applying for will use a different version of a scoring model of FICO to judge your credit. So if you're going for a home, they're looking at the FICO scoring model, but it's going to be 2, 4, or 5, okay? And the common scoring model that's used right now of FICO is a FICO 8. So that can be your issue. Sometimes a FICO 2, 4, or 5 is an earlier model, and your scores are lower than your normal FICO 8 credit score that they're using. So that can be part of the issue. If you went to get credit and you see your score is lower than what you're seeing on your monitoring system, it could be a FICO 8 score. So you can get access like Myfico. I'll leave that link in the description of the video. They have different versions of your scoring model. You can check them out. You can check and use Experian or Transunion, but you want to see what scoring model. Your second place that you want to go and see if you have this 50-point to 100-point or better variation in your credit scores is your hard inquiries. Okay, so if you have an issue where you're seeing a large variation in your credit scores, your hard inquiries could be the culprit of the situation, because when you go to apply for credit cards, many of them don't pull all 3 of your credit scores unless you're applying for a Capital One credit card. They do pull all 3, but if you're going for a mortgage, they'll pull all 3. But generally for credit cards, they'll use one credit bureau to judge, to approve you for that credit score or that credit card or that, car loan. So what happens is you have a lot of lenders that use more frequent bureaus than others. So I'm going to say Experian. I see more lenders use Experian as a judge for credit. Second runner-up will be Transunion, and the third, it will be Equifax. So you might notice your Experian score might be lower, or your Transunion score may be lower, and it could be because if you applied for credit recently, it could be that they use that bureau to judge you and it decreased your credit score. And each hard inquiry costs you about 3 to 10 points. I do have my free hard inquiry removal package. So if you guys are suffering that situation, download that and send those letters off, and that can cure your problem. Also, if you have recently went out and got a new car loan, they a lot of times will shotgun your credit. I have seen people with over 100 hard inquiries because they don't know that they shotgun their credit. So if you go from dealership to dealership to dealership, you can end up with a ton of hard inquiries. And if they're pulling, like, let's say a lot of times from Equifax with that, then that credit score might be extremely lower. So you want to look at your hard inquiries to see if that is the area for you not to have that to happen to you. I did a video on if you're a Navy Federal Credit Union member, you can get pre-qualified for a car loan. And when you go ahead and get your own financing in that in that instance, if you're going for a car loan, you want to get your financing not from the dealership. So when you go there, you're already pre-qualified and you can just pick out your car. They don't have to run your credit score again to get you a lender. You have your own lender, and many times they'll cut you a check, and then you're only getting one hard inquiry instead of, on the average, they're shotgunning your credit and you're getting 16. So that's how you can deal with that problem. And if you want to cure it, get my hard inquiry removal package and dispute those inquiries off. Another thing you have to know, you can't dispute off hard inquiries that is connected to a credit account that you have open, like a credit card. You want to be careful. If you try to dispute that, they can close down the account. And keep in mind, sometimes your own credit card companies do periodically pull your credit score and your credit report to just see if you're in good standing with other credit cards. Because if you're not, they can close your account even though you haven't made a missed payment. You might have did it on another credit card account. So those you can't dispute off. And so let's move on to the next area you need to look at. Now, the third area you need to look at is always your utilization, because it could be that with your utilization on your credit card, it's not completely reporting on another credit bureau yet. It haven't updated, because sometimes different credit bureaus updates at a different time of the month or when you're actually receiving that. So it could be your utilization that's causing that variation in that credit report because it haven't updated with that particular bureau. So that can be the culprit of you seeing that variation. You want to always try to bring down your utilization either way, under 30% to maintain under that number so you don't see any issues with your credit score dropping. Number 4 could be a trade line not properly reporting or reporting at all. So sometimes you might get a loan or even a credit card or just some kind of trade line that don't report to all 3 major credit bureaus. So that can cause an inconsistency in that particular credit score if it's not reporting over there. So that can be one of your issues. You want to look at your trade lines. Do that trade line report to all 3 major credit bureaus? It might only report to 1 or 2. So you'll see a big difference in your credit score, because if you're making on-time payments, it's not being accredited to that credit bureau that's not reporting it. So you want to look at that. Could be your issue. Also, there are situations it's reporting to all three credit bureaus, but one credit bureau might have some wrong information. You might have one missed payment, and then you look up that other credit bureau is reporting two missed payments. So you want to make sure, even as those credit lines or trade lines are actually reporting, they're reporting accurately. So there's times that you might see your other two credit bureaus have all the payments up to your date to this month, which is February. You might see one that didn't report yet. They're only reporting January payment, but they haven't reported February on-time payment yet, and that can cause a difference in your credit score. If you're having those issues, call up that credit card company or that loan company, because they're the one that report the information directly to the credit bureaus, and that's the quickest way to resolve that issue. Now, number 5, what could be happening? You have a negative item reporting to one or more credit bureau and not the other credit bureau. So it's almost like the same thing with the trade lines. Sometimes, like with a collection, it might not be reporting to all three major credit bureaus. They might not have a relationship with that credit bureau, so it's only reporting on 2 or 1. So you will have a higher credit score on the bureau that's not reporting that collection. So that can be it. Or it could be a charge-off that is not reporting on one credit report that's reporting on another, and that will cause a variation in your credit scores. So if that is happening to you, you need to dispute that item off of your credit report. If it is a collection, you can send a debt validation letter directly to the collection company, and you want to send a dispute letter to the credit bureaus. So you want to do that 2-part process. So with the collection, you want to first wait 30 days. You're going to send your debt validation letter to the collection company, wait 30 days, and then dispute. So it depends on their response. If they do not respond to you, then you're going to dispute with the credit bureaus. And if they do not update that account as being in dispute, they must do that by law on your credit report. If they don't do that and let the bureaus know you're disputing that, you need to dispute with the bureaus that they did not take that step, and that's a violation of the Fair Credit Reporting Act. Now, with a charge-off, what you want to do is just dispute directly with the credit bureaus, and anything that is inaccurate, you want to challenge about that account. So that can be the reason why you see a big variation on your credit score, because there's a negative item reporting that's not on the other credit reports. Now, if you need letters to remove those off of your credit reports or a debt validation letter, I do have it at my website in my package. Now, number 6, you want to check your age of credit, because sometimes if you get a new account, it will affect that age of credit category, especially if you get a new account and you're over a 700 credit score. That's when you really see that can be problematic. Also, if you are a person that's an authorized user on someone's account and that account is not reporting to one or more credit bureau or one particular credit bureau, that authorized user account, and that person that you're piggybacking off of with that authorized user account have a very long credit history, that for that account, that account might have been open for 10 years. If it is not reporting on that one credit bureau, it affects your age of credit. And so you'll see those other 2 scores that it's reporting, at a much higher point rate where you'll have more points there, and the other credit bureau, the score will be lower because it just increased the age of credit over on those other two credit reports. So you want to look at your age of credit. If you have a new account, it can decrease that, especially if you over a 700 credit score, and that could cause an issue. And like I said originally, you'd have each credit bureau have their own nuances. So sometimes age of credit from one credit bureau is judged actually at a harder rate if it is lower, and so the other two, or one might grade it on a higher standing or a lower standing, which will cause a variation in your reports. So let's go to the seventh item that you need to look at if you are having a big variation in your credit report. Now, the seventh area that you need to look at is look over your credit profile and make sure they haven't merged your profile with someone else with inaccurate information. So if you're a person that have a common name or live in a big building, and they can merge your accounts, especially if it's an apartment building and you have a common name like Steven Johnson or Mary, Jackson, something in that category, they can merge your credit profile with another person's credit profile, and you can inherit negative items from their credit profile that is not yours whatsoever. I see this a lot also with parents, like especially fathers. If you have a junior and you're a senior and your son is a junior and they have lived in the same addresses that you have lived at and they have your same name, they can get their information merged on your credit profile, and it could be wrong information. So you want to look at your credit profile and make sure they haven't merged your profile with someone else or just anybody in that facility. So if you see names like alias of, say for me, Sherry Beckley, I seen where they had a Shirley Beckley and all, under my name. That is not my name. So you want to dispute and remove those items and any inaccurate accounts directly with the credit bureaus. So hopefully this was educational and helpful for you guys to be able to fix these variations in your credit score. If you have any questions, you can leave it in the comment section, or you can go to my website and submit your question, and it goes directly to my cell phone if it's a more private question and you don't want to put it in the comment section. So I hope to see you guys in the next video. Stay tuned.